That may be the greatest catch I've ever seen in my life.
Alright guys, I've been receiving a lot of questions on Patreon as of late, asking when is our next Dynasty mock draft? When are we going to be completing those Dynasty mock drafts? And I'll be completely honest with y'all, with those mock drafts, it's really depending on when I am free. I am currently in my last semester of college at the University of Texas. I'm graduating with 2 degrees, so what that requires is for me to take a ton of hours. I'm taking 22 hours this semester to graduate with both of those degrees. Not only do I run this channel, I also run everything on Patreon. I run a fantasy basketball channel at the same time. So yeah, my plate is full. I'm going to continue to try to do as many of those Dynasty mock drafts as I possibly can. But to be honest, it may be a little bit random. Y'all may not really have a major heads up on when I am going to go live. So what I recommend doing is I just recommend making sure y'all are dropping likes on the videos. And not only dropping likes, but making sure you're subscribed to the channel, which I'm sure 99% of y'all are. But turn the bell on next to the subscribe button, and that is going to give you a notification whenever we go live. That way you can hop in right away if you are available, and you can participate in that mock draft with myself and the other subscribers to this channel. But yeah, I'm very sorry. I wish I could nail down a solid schedule and be able to tell y'all we're going live on this day at this time every single week. But with how my schedule is going to be for the next 3 or so months, I mean, that is just not possible. But anyway, in this video, what we are going to be doing is we are going to be looking at cornerstone running backs that you can build your Dynasty rosters around. Y'all know I am always talking about getting your running backs on the rookie contract. I don't know how many times I have to talk about this. This is why we are avoiding David Johnson, Le'Veon Bell, Todd Gurley, Melvin Gordon, Ezekiel Elliott. This is why we are avoiding all of these running backs this past offseason. And it's because those running backs don't have long-term job security if you look at the way their contracts are situated. But if you are that rookie and you are going to have that 4-year deal tied to your name, you're pretty much extremely safe in Dynasty Fantasy Football, considering you'll also most likely get a second contract where you'll have an additional year or 2, and that's when we can sell you and just hit the reset button and get another rookie running back that we can ride out for the next 4 years. This is how you play Dynasty. This is the winning strategy. I mean, it's very similar to how teams in the NFL right now have the best chance to win the Super Bowl when they have their quarterback on that rookie contract, because they're able to go around and assign so much cap space to everywhere else on the roster. I mean, just think of it the same way. What you want in your Dynasty roster is you want running backs on their rookie contracts, so you have that long-term job security. So here we're going to be talking about running backs that were in the 2020 draft class combined with the running backs that were in the 2021 draft class. Now, obviously, these rankings are going to be subject to change once we get the official athletic numbers on these 2020 running backs, once we get the landing spots as well. I'm sure that we should have more running backs in the 2021 class, sliding up our rankings here. But until then, this is going to be loaded up with some guys who had very impressive rookie seasons, some guy where we already know the situation for him. But that's it. Let's get into this video. In our running back one between the 2020 and 2021 draft class is going to be Jonathan Taylor. Now, I'll say right away, I owe everyone a massive apology that decided to draft Clyde EdwardsHelaire over Jonathan Taylor in their Dynasty rookie drafts this past offseason based on my advice. Once we had Damian Williams holding out due to COVID, in my opinion, I thought it was an easy choice between Clyde EdwardsHelaire and Jonathan Taylor for the 101 pick in these rookie drafts. And clearly, I was wrong. Everybody that was on board of the Jonathan Taylor train as being a much better running back, playing behind a much better offensive line on a team that wanted to establish the running game instead of passing the ball. Y'all were 100% right. I was 100% wrong. I mean, Jonathan Taylor at this point is looking like Ezekiel Elliott. He is looking like a bell cow running back that you're not going to have to worry about injuries. You're not going to have to worry about a lack of usage in the receiving game. So with Jonathan Taylor, I'm going to be looking at him as an extremely safe asset that also has a ton of upside at the same time. And yeah, just lock him in as your running back one on your Dynasty roster. The Indianapolis Colts have a great offensive line. Jonathan Taylor has a fantastic rushing profile. There's so much to get excited about with him. All right, so now our next running back is going to be someone that I actually had as the running back 1 before the NFL draft. I lowered him down because of his landing spot, but I should have kept him where we had him. This is going to be DAndre Swift. Okay, so with DAndre Swift, he is going to be the bell cow running back for the Detroit Lions in 2021. And even if he is not the bell cow running back, I said this so many times throughout the course of the 2020 season, we don't need him to be seeing 20, 25, 30 touches a game to be productive. What we need him to do is get all the valuable touches in his offense, and that is what he is built for. I mean, he is built to be the running back that is getting targets out of the backfield. He is built to be the running back that is getting usage at the goal line. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be a little bit worried about this, and I'm going to be 100% honest. When I first got into Dynasty Fantasy Football, whenever I first got into fantasy football, I truly did not understand the importance of the value of the running back touch. I was just looking for the guys that were soaking up a ton of volume in their offenses, not necessarily how they were getting that volume. And that was a major misunderstanding by myself. This is why I did a poor job of evaluating a player like Aaron Jones, where yes, Aaron Jones was splitting a backfield with Jamal Williams, but we needed to do a better job of understanding the fact that Aaron Jones was the running back getting the valuable touches in those receptions and in that goal line usage. DAndre Swift is the same player here, someone that I would be confident in drafting at the very end of the first round in Dynasty startup drafts, a player that should be a solid option over the next 4 seasons at the very minimum. Okay, so now coming in here at running back 3 is going to be someone that had a very disappointing rookie season, and this is Clyde EdwardsHelaire. So I know a lot of people are going to be upset with me in ranking CEH over Cam Akers, over J.K. Dobbins, over Najee Harris, but I have to. I mean, we are just looking at this running back being the bell cow running back for the Kansas City Chiefs starting in 2021. You look at the other running backs they have on the roster. I mean, Damian Williams is going to be coming back after holding out due to COVID, but he's going to be like 28, 29 years old. We know that once you hit that age at the running back position, you're pretty much a non-factor. And at the same time, they have Darrell Williams, someone who has no pedigree, someone who has no team investment. They also have a running back like Le'Veon Bell, who should probably not even be on the roster this time next year. So really, the only running back that this team has decided to invest into is Clyde EdwardsHelaire. He was only 21 years old at the time he was drafted, still only 21 years old. So a player that has a ton of room to develop, should be a much better pass catcher this upcoming season. So we're going to have him here at 3 as a bounce back candidate. Okay, so now our next running back is going to be someone that is surprisingly young. He's actually 16 months younger than a player like Najee Harris, and this is Cam Akers. Okay, so with Cam Akers, I know everybody is on board. Everybody is ready to crown him as our next Dynasty superstar after seeing his performance in the playoffs for the Los Angeles Rams. And while, yes, I think that Cam Akers is one of the most exciting running backs on this list, I am just a little bit worried about the Los Angeles Rams going forward. You look at how they decided to use their resources over the past few years, and they pretty much went all in on trying to build a competitive roster right away. And what they did is they mortgaged their future. They really don't have the draft capital or the cap space to improve their roster this upcoming offseason. And really, I think it's only going to get worse for Los Angeles. So while I love the talent profile of a Cam Akers, while I think he is going to be getting so much volume, I mean, we are looking at the Los Angeles Rams offense compared to an offense like the Kansas City Chiefs, and I just have reasons to be concerned. All right, so now our next running back is going to be J.K. Dobbins, and at the time of this recording, Mark Ingram has been officially cut by the Baltimore Ravens, something that I said was going to happen 2 months ago, something that everybody knew was going to happen if you just looked at the contract that Mark Ingram was playing under. And with J.K. Dobbins, I have one question, and that is, what is his usage in the receiving game going to look like? Because clearly we know he is always going to be an extremely high yards per carry player as long as he is playing with Lamar Jackson, because Lamar Jackson has the effect where he is freezing the opponent linebackers just because they can't crash in on Dobbins, or Lamar's going to take it around the edge. Lamar's going to pick up a massive play. So Dobbins is going to have that high efficiency in the run game, but With Lamar Jackson, he's not a quarterback that's going to be looking to check the ball down. He is a quarterback that is going to be looking to run the ball when his first read is not there. And that does not bode well for a player like J.K. Dobbins if we want him to be seeing the targets in a PPR format. So that is what's going to keep him down here at number 5. Okay, so now our next player coming in at number 6 is going to be tied with our player at 7. So please, guys, literally 10 seconds from now, I could flip-flop these rankings. We need to see the measurables for both of them before we create an official list. It's going to be Najee Harris and Travis Etienne at 6 and 7. Now, I made a video where I dove into both of these running backs in depth about a week ago. And with Najee Harris, I mean, he seriously reminds me of David Montgomery. I know a lot of people hate to hear that comparison, but you look at Najee Harris, I mean, he is one of the best running backs in the game in making defenders miss in between the tackles. He's one of the best running backs in the game in breaking tackles away from the line of scrimmage. But I have questions about his top end speed. I have questions about his big play ability. And I really want to see that speed before we move him ahead of any of these other running backs that we've already seen hit at the NFL level. I also want to see his landing spot. I want to see where he goes in the NFL draft. So just an asset that has a ton of upside, but not nearly as safe as any of the top 5 running backs. And with Travis Etienne on the other example, I mean, the story here is size. With what Clemson listed him under for the 2020 season, I mean, he looks like he is severely undersized to be a 3-down running back, but we don't know his official numbers until we see him at the NFL Combine or at the Clemson Pro Day. So what I want to see with Travis Etienne is a BMI that is nothing close to a Clyde EdwardsHelaire. I want to see his BMI a little bit higher. I need to see him at least come in and look like he can handle 15 to 20 touches a game at the NFL level, but he has the speed, he has the receiving game capability at the same time. I just have question marks surrounding his workhorse potential if he is so light. Okay. So now our next player coming in at 8 was an undrafted free agent, and this is going to be James Robinson. And I'm going to be completely honest here on a couple different levels. With undrafted free agents, I have generally, at least historically, been the guy ringing the bell saying, sell, sell, sell. As soon as they have a big season, I hate to see the players jump up in value that don't have the draft pedigree, that weren't high school recruits going into college. And with James Robinson, I mean, clearly he was neither. He was a player that kind of came out of nowhere. And I have another confession. I did not even think that he was going to be the running back in Jacksonville starting after the Leonard Fournette cut. I did not even think that the reports were accurate. I thought Raekwon Armstead, after he got off the COVID list, was going to be the starting running back there. So I was wrong on James Robinson right from the jump. But even though I was screaming to sell Phillip Lindsay, another undrafted free agent who had a big rookie season, with James Robinson, I think this is different. I mean, if you look at what he was able to do in terms of his utilization in the receiving game combined with the volume that he had in the rushing game, I mean, he was one of the true bell cow running backs last season. And this Jacksonville Jaguars offense should be significantly better with the coaching change, as well as Trevor Lawrence coming in to elevate the offense. So while I generally don't like investing into these undrafted free agents, I think James Robinson is someone that has reasons to be excited. Okay, so now I know y'all are probably all wondering why he is so low on this list after we were extremely high on him last offseason, after I was probably the highest person on YouTube on Antonio Gibson, but he's going to be coming in here at 9 behind James Robinson, behind Travis Etienne, Najee Harris, J.K. Dobbins, Cam Akers, Clyde EdwardsHelaire. And I know y'all are wondering why, because I was saying Antonio Gibson had top 5 overall upside if you looked at his athletic profile, if you looked at his receiving game ability. I mean, he looks like Saquon Barkley. I mean, he is unreal. But I have very similar questions around him that I did with a Cam Akers, and that's, what is this offense going to be? I mean, I love Antonio Gibson. I loved him coming into the NFL, but how is this offense going to improve in Washington? I mean, they have nothing close to a soft quarterback situation, and they don't have a high enough draft pick to really be able to significantly address it in this year's NFL draft. They already cut bait on a Dwayne Haskins, really the only hope for this franchise. So I'm going to have Antonio Gibson down here at 9. While I think he is one of the most talented running backs on this list with the most upside. I mean, if he was playing on the Kansas City Chiefs instead of Clyde EdwardsHelaire, he would probably be at the #1 spot on this list. I mean, with running backs in fantasy, so much about their production is with their situation. So he's going to have to come down here at 9. Okay. So now our last player that we're going to talk about is probably going to fall once we get the official testing numbers for the 2021 class of running backs. But this is going to be A.J. Dillon coming in here at the 10 spot. Now I'll say real quick, A.J. Dillon has been going way too high in our recent Dynasty mock drafts. I mean, people are wanting to jump the gun. People are wanting to look at A.J. Dillon and get extremely excited. And while there are reasons to be excited about A.J. Dillon, I mean, I don't see any reason to be taking him over some of these other running backs because while, yes, Aaron Jones is an unrestricted free agent this upcoming offseason, with A.J. Dillon, we have no security that he is going to be the starting guy if Aaron Jones decides to come back. And even if Aaron Jones departs, we don't know what the receiving game is going to look like for A.J. Dillon. So please, guys, I think he has a low-end running back 1 upside, high-end running back 2 upside. Don't be just completely jumping the gun on A.J. Dillon, although I hyped him up a lot last offseason because we were just looking ahead. We were looking at what the Green Bay Packers were telling us by drafting A.J. Dillon in the 2nd round and deciding to not extend Aaron Jones. I still don't think we should be getting too excited and raising him much higher than this. Very similar to a player like Antonio Gibson. Yes, I know I was significantly higher than both of these running backs compared to consensus an offseason ago. But just because we were right and they were undervalued doesn't mean we should be drastically raising their value this upcoming offseason because now I think they are appropriately valued. Now, thank you guys. I really hope y'all enjoyed the video. I really hope y'all got something from it. As always, if y'all did, go down there, drop that like, leave that comment, subscribe to the channel. It really, really helps us out. And yeah, that's it. I will see y'all with the video tomorrow.